Hello, I'm Julie from the John H. Dickerson Heritage Library, and today I'm going to show you how to make DIY fabric flowers. You can use these flowers in a lot of ways. You can use them to make a hair clip, you can use them to make a brooch, you could attach them to a purse or to a hat. You can make them in a variety of colors, that way they're good for lots of different seasons. I think that these two would be appropriate for either spring or summer, and then you could use this one for either fall or winter. To do this project, you don't have to go out and buy new fabric. You could use some fabric scraps you have lying around your house. You could also use any extra buttons, gemstones that you have lying around that you can use for the center of the flower. I'm going to go over the amount of fabric you'll need to make these flowers in the different sizes that I've shown you. And then if you enjoy making this craft, we have some books here at the library that you could check out that show you how to utilize more scraps you may have around your house. I'm going to go ahead and get our supplies together and I'll be right back. The supplies that you will need today to make this craft are cotton fabric, organza or tulle. I decide to use lace. You need picking shears, scissors, felt, needle and thread. You need either a hair clip or a pin back, depending on how you want to design your flower. You will need a pen, pins, a hot glue gun, measuring tape, and then you'll need either some gemstones or buttons, some beads, whatever you have at home that you would like to glue into the center of your flower. The flowers I made for my examples are made from different lengths and widths of fabric. This one I made from a 4-inch by 42-inch pieces of fabric. It came out rather large. I think it's more appropriate for a purse or a hat. This one was created from 3 inches by 32 inches of fabric. It's a little on the smaller side. I put a pin back on it to make it into a brooch. The last one was created by using 2.5 by 24-inch fabric, which I think came out to be a better size for a hair clip, which is what I attached onto the back of this one. Today I'm going to show you how to make the 2.5-inch by 24-inch flower, and I'm also going to make it into a hair clip. While doing this project, you can use a sewing machine, but today I'm going to sew by hand. I think it makes it a little easier, especially if you don't have a sewing machine at your house. All right, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use your measuring tape and your scissors, and you want to measure out your fabric in 2.5 by 24-inch sections. I went ahead and already pre-cut some, so that way I didn't have to do it for you guys. So what you want to do is have 2.5 by 24-inch of your cotton fabric, 2 pieces, and you're going to have 2 pieces of either your organza, tulle, or in my case lace, and they're all the same size. After you cut out these pieces, you then want to decide how you want to layer your fabric. You can do it, every other piece. You can decide that you would like to put both pieces of your lace or organza tulle between your 2 cotton pieces of fabric. However you decide to layer it, it will give a different look to your flower. No matter how you layer it, do make sure that you put your 2 pieces of cotton fabric the same way, the pattern direction going on top of each other, just like that. Today I'm going to layer my fabric with my lace in the middle of my cotton fabrics. So just go ahead and layer them on top of each other, line them up. After you line them up, you are going to pin them together at the bottom of the fabric. As I pin it, I like just to make sure that it's lined up, so I kind of just do one section at a time. So then, after it's lined up, go grab your pin, and I pin it about a 1/2 inch from the bottom of the fabric. So you just want to pin it all the way across the bottom of your fabric. after you pin the bottom of your fabric, it should look like that. See the pins in there along the bottom. So now the next step is that we need to make the petals of our flowers. So you can use your pen and you can go ahead and draw out the petals, starting your petals off being larger, and then you want to make them smaller at the end, because when we wrap our flower, we're going to have the larger petals on the bottom and the smaller ones on the top. I personally found that I like just to do it freehand, so it's up to you if you'd like to draw them or if you would like to just to go ahead and use your pinking shears to do it freehand. So I'm going to do it freehand. I'm going to start it off. I'll show you. So I made my first petal shape. And you want to leave some room down at the bottom. It's about maybe 1/4 of an inch of space there. You see you have like the texture edge from using the pinking shears, so it gives you a petal. And then you just want to continue that along with on your fabric. And like I said, remember as you're doing it, just make sure that you start your petals off a little bigger, and then we're going to make them a little smaller going down. I did start my petals off larger, and then they went down and they were smaller at the end. Like I said, you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You just want that that kind of scalloped shaped of petals. So now that part's done, the next step is to start a running stitch on the bottom of your fabric. And as you stitch it, you are going to gather the fabric so it creates your petals. So you're going to take your needle, you're going to thread your needle, and you're going to start at the back of the fabric, and then you're going to come through the back of the fabric, out the front, and then you're going to go back out, back in, back out, back in. You don't have to do it quite so many times that I do it, but that's the method you want to use. Like I said, that's called a running stitch. So you're just going to do it all on the bottom, and you're going to pull it. And as you pull it, it's going to gather on the bottom so that we make our petals. So then you're back at the front. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back in the front, and you're going to come through the back, out, and I go back in, and then I come back out. Just a regular old stitch at the bottom. If you're not sure how to do it, you can look it up on the internet and get a view at running stitch and gathering. See, you just pull it and see how it's all gathered, and it's like creating a petal. So as you do it, you can remove your pins as you go because it's already stitched together, so you don't need to have the pins anymore. I actually found it's easier to take the pins out as I go instead of trying to wait to the end to remove it. So I just go back in, and you just continue this along the bottom of the flower. When you get to your end of your thread, you should have something that looks like this. It's all gathered, bunched up, pulled tight. Make sure you end at the back of your fabric. You're going to want to go ahead and knot it. Okay. After you have knotted it a couple times, go ahead and cut off a little bit of excess fabric. So now you have this. So now what you're going to do is you're basically going to wrap it around to create the flower shape. So you gotta wrap it around, and you gotta design it. You gotta pull it how you think it looks nice. So you have to play with it for a couple minutes and get the shape that you like with the petals. After you get the shape that you like, you need to make sure that you have knotted your thread at the end because we need to secure it. We're going to go back to our flower and make sure that we're happy with how we have it pulled around. I think that that looks nice. So I'm going to go ahead and secure it. So what you're going to do is start at the back of your flower. You're going to go in. Make sure you don't poke your finger. You may want to use a thimble if you have one. I personally do not like thimbles. I like being able to tell where it's going. So you're going to go in the back of the flower, and then we are going to come out the front, and we are just securing it in the shape that we created. All right, once you are sure that your flower is secure, you can stop. So there you go, I got a nice flower shape. So then I am going to knot off the back. All right, so you can trim a little extra bit of fabric you have. So now we have the shape of our flower. So then what we're gonna do on the back of it, you wanna hide like your thread and stuff that you have happening back here in the back of it. So we're gonna take our piece of felt. We are gonna cut it to an appropriate size for the back of your flower. And I'm gonna make this a hair clip. I'm not gonna use the pin back. So we're gonna glue our felt on to the back of our flower, like so. All right, now you have your felt on the back and it hides all your stitching. We are then going to secure our hair clip. Now you can secure your hair clip first, or we're gonna go ahead and do our gemstones in the middle. So for this one, I have a couple gemstones here and beads. So you can use whatever you like. These are nice, but I think that I'm gonna go with this one. So what we're gonna do is we're going to hot glue it into the center. There we are, and there's the center of my flower. After that is secure, you can go ahead and flip it back over, and we're gonna hot glue our hair clip on there. Attach it to the felt that is on the back. I'm gonna press it down, make sure it's nice and secure, and voila, there it is. You definitely wanna go back in. You can fluff up your petals and separate your fabric so you can see the layers. So you can see I have my fabric and my lace. And there you are. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to find more books on sewing and crafts, check out our website at volusialibrary.org, where you can search the catalog for more inspiration. See you next time.